Welcome to Live from Med City, the online video digest of all things arts and entertainment in Rochester, Minnesota. Tonight's episode was recorded in the summer of 2020 from the second floor lobby of the Mayo Civic Center, overlooking beautiful downtown Rochester, Minnesota. A special audience-less performance from Rochester-based folk singer-songwriter Stephen J. Schmidt.
Haunts painted with flowers for the Beerburn Pewaukee Way. I'm moving along that open prairie. A real home I have not found. Then came you, and all you do, Mama, Mama, let me tell you what I've done. I've started working Grandpa's land.
Live from Med City is presented by Riverside Concerts, a department of Rochester City Government.
Rochester Civic Music, also known as Riverside Concerts. They're a department of city government, and they do live music. They feature local artists, as well as artists from all over the world, from numerous genres of music. As part of series like Down by the Riverside free summer concerts in Mayo Park, the Forward Neighborhood Park Concert Series, the World Music Series, the Artist in the Schools Music Education Program, the Live from Med City online video series, and many other city celebrations. This is their advisory board. And here are their bosses. Rochester Civic Music, your city music department since 1936. Check them out on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter, or at riversideconcerts.com, where you can make a tax-deductible donation to support live music in our community.
Live from Med City, presented in association with Mayo Clinic, Mayo Civic Center, Rochester Park and Rec, Experience Rochester, 507 Magazine, Med City Beat, The Rochester Posse, and Minnesota Public Radio's The Current.
Music isn't a commodity. It's a craft. That's why we go to work every day, pounding the sidewalks and venue floors of communities big and small to discover, empower, and celebrate new and important voices shaping the future of music's history.
This activity is made possible by the voters of Minnesota through a Minnesota State Arts Board Operating Support Grant, thanks to a legislative appropriation from the Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund.
Hello there, my name's Kim Norton and I'm the mayor of the city of Rochester, and I wanted to share some information with you today that I think will be interesting for you, some information that you may not even be aware of. And that is that the city of Rochester is unique among cities our size for certain in that we have Rochester Civic Music. We actually have a city-run music department. It's also known as Riverside Concerts or Down by the Riverside. That's what most of us know Rochester Civic Music by is Riverside Concerts or Down by the Riverside, but they do so much more than that. The one thing that's happened different this year is that we also have had to make changes due to COVID. And some of those changes have caused some really creative new ways to appreciate and enjoy music in our community despite the pandemic. So car park concerts have been going on at 125 Live, where you can drive up into the parking lot, stay in your car, and a band will play, and you get to listen to that band just from the safety and comfort of your own car. Live from Med City is an online virtual music show, and Steve Schmidt is the director of that whole department. Steve's been with Riverside Concerts. He's been the general manager or director for 30 years, and he is the curator of the Riverside Concert programs. He's won several awards. Some of Steve's staff saw a tape of Steve himself playing. He's a folk musician. They saw that and they said, you know, Steve, even though you've run the department and you've kept your music to yourself, it's time that the folks in Rochester see what you really do. And so I hope we all can find a few minutes to participate, to turn it on, and really enjoy that special Live from Med City event.
Moving along the open prairie, I'm moving along that open prairie. Really don't know where I'm bound. I'm moving along that open prairie. A real home I have not found, and I'm looking for the sunshine to help me make it through my days. I've gotta get away from city life, gotta leave behind the smog and the haze. I'm moving along that open prairie, got my guitar here by my side. I'm moving along that open prairie, really don't know what I might find, and I'm looking for the sunshine to help me make it through my days. I've gotta get away from city life, gotta leave behind the smog and the haze. And I'm looking for the sunshine to help me make it through my days. I've gotta get away from city life, gotta leave behind the smog and the haze. I'm moving along that open prairie, clouds weave a pattern in the sky. I'm moving along that open prairie, I let the rolling semis pass me by, and I'm looking for the sunshine to help me make it through my days. I've gotta get away from city life, gotta leave behind the smog and the haze. I'm moving along that open prairie, moving along that open prairie.
When the Riverside Concerts team
started putting together these Live from Med City broadcasts, I volunteered as an artist to be in front of the camera and microphone so that my staff could get to know the new equipment that we purchased and work on their skill sets so that these programs could look and sound as great as they do. I never imagined that my music would become part of this series. Well, my staff said, you know, Steve, these songs are really good. We really ought to share them because a lot of folks don't know that, you know, you're first and foremost an artist. Well, here we are. I hope that you do enjoy these songs from the Heartland, written mostly in Rochester, Minnesota. This next tune is called The Windmill 80, and what inspired it is my wife's family, who goes back 5 generations in Olmsted County, Minnesota, and their homestead they called The Windmill 80. The very best place I know is where the Root River grows, a clapboard house near Simpson Way. The farm where my kids were born, down a road that's been well worn. It's my home and where I plan to stay. The windmill 80's in my soul. Working this field is my joy and only goal. Strength lies in this prairie soil. Tending these rows is no toil. The windmill 80 is my home. The dirt here is a chestnut brown. Rarely has a harvest let me down. My 8 sons help me plow the land. Over in the holler is a hidden still, where the oriole's song is never shrill. Come evening time the boys form a string band. The windmill 80's in my soul. Working this field is my joy and only goal. Strength lies in this prairie soil. Tending these rows is no toil. The windmill 80 is my home. A sapphire hue, plant these 80 acres on that queue. Then we gather round near Fugel's mill, drinking in our beers and stories there, living our lives without a care. The windmill pumps proud high upon the hill. The windmill 80's in my soul. Working this field is my joy and only goal. Strength lies in this prairie soil. Tending these rows is no toil. The windmill 80 is my home. The windmill 80 is my home. The Windmill 80, the homestead for Fred Colvin and that whole band of crazy folks from near Simpson. When I first joined the city as director of Riverside Concerts, I didn't think that I'd be here more than 5 years. Well, it's now been more than 30, and I can't imagine living anyplace else. Rochester is truly an exceptional community. Not only do we attract the best and brightest because of the Mayo Clinic, because of the clinic and the cool environment that we have here, we're developing this really neat creative class. Over the time I've worked for the city, I've seen the musical environment here just improve by leaps and bounds. There are some really great artists, singer-songwriters, and bands working here. It's really been something to see, and I'm really pleased to be able to be part of it, not only as director of Riverside Concerts, getting an opportunity to work with these artists, to present them, to help them develop their craft. But for me as an artist, I find it just to be a very creative and supportive space in which to work. Hans painted with flowers for the Beerburn Pewaukee Way. He thought he couldn't work the canvas as his father had taught him each day. With no formal training, he struck out on his own. From Leipzig to Budapest to Texas, till he made Milwaukee his home. He put away his brushes and his palette to marry the girl of his dreams. They started a family, though just barely out of their teens. He became a gardener for those who had money and more. But with war at the doorstep, they fled with other souls from the horror. They entered the country in the usual unlawful way. They couldn't clear Ellis Island. A clubfoot got in their way. Somehow they made El Paso and farmed by the old Rio Grande till the crops failed and they had to abandon their land. Then northward to Wisconsin, a much greener shore, tending gardens for brewers and bankers, planting flowers and trees by the score. He became the master. Nursery beds were his domain. He won honors, prizes, and ribbons. The moguls all knew his name. As time passed, his wife was departed, and his children left him on his own. He practiced his trade in Pewaukee, to finding a place at the home. His heart and his knees had grown weary, no longer to dig in the dirt. So he picked up his brushes and his palette to paint for all it was worth. Wisconsin's Grandpa Moses is how he became to be known, painting landscapes and flowers, so much beauty his linen did show. His works now hang in museums, collections from here and to there. I wish I could have known him. We'd have many stories to share. Hans painted with flowers for the beer baron Pewaukee way. He thought he couldn't work the canvas, but his father had shown him the way. What is a family if not soil paintings and a song? Surely my great-granddad is listening. Can't you hear him singing along? Hans painted with flowers. Well, in all the years I've worked as an arts administrator, I've never stopped writing songs and performing. In fact, that's how I got started in the business. I came up by managing a coffee house, booking the talent, playing every show, serving as MC. And the rest is history. I continue to write songs. I continue to perform the occasional gig. In fact, when I'm not doing my day job, I'm down here in this studio, writing new songs, recording, rehearsing with friends, getting ready for the occasional gig that comes along. This next tune I'm going to play for you is a little lullaby. It's a waltz that I wrote for my wife Elizabeth when I was out on tour, and she was unable to make the trip, and I was missing her. And it's called Time Goes So Slowly. Time goes so slowly, those last lonely hours, those last lonely hours before we meet again, my lifelong friend, my love, my baby,
my love, my baby, my own, my own, my love, my baby, my own. Long, long ago, I had a dream, and you are the vision that came. We'll soon be together. I'm coming home. For what am I here but a man all alone? Without you, without you. Time goes so slowly, those last lonely hours, those last lonely hours before we meet again. My lifelong friend, my love, my baby, my own, my own, my love, my baby, my own.
In terms of musical influences, they're so varied. I've really been very fortunate in my career, not only as a musician, but as an arts administrator, to have the opportunity to meet, work with, and to make music with artists across a broad spectrum. From learning different tunings and picking patterns as a college student in France and Normandy and Brittany, to working with Elizabeth Cotton as part of a master class, to working with Pete Seeger while I was on the Sing Out board, to backing up Kathy Fink. I've got some connections to some of the folk music greats. Influences include all of those people, as well as, John McCutcheon, Martin Simpson, and on the pop side too. I mean, because I'm a child of the '60s and the '70s. Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young's guitar work, James Taylor's guitar work. All of this has informed my work as an artist.
Mama, Mama. This is a tune that I wrote for my mother and my grandfather Edgar and my grandmother Lydia, who farmed near Kiel, Wisconsin. Mama, Mama, this is your son. Mama, Mama, let me tell you what I've done. I've started working Grandpa's land. I've started farming with my own two hands. Mama, Mama, let me tell you what I found. Mama, Mama, from working this plot of ground, I found my sunny days and a natural high that never goes away. Out in the distance, a song you will hear. My voice rings soft, but it's strong and clear. Riding the wind is the glorious sound of joy. My heart must resound. Tell you the reason why. I've learned what it means to be free. I've learned what it means to be me. Mama, mama, this is your son. Mama, mama, let me tell you what I've done. I've started working Grandpa's land. I've started farming with my own two hands.
COVID-19 has proven to be difficult for everybody. It's been particularly difficult on artists and the concert business. Many of our friends have lost loved ones. They've seen their careers come to a complete standstill. These live from Med City broadcasts are our attempt to not only connect with audiences and to keep them engaged, but to also continue to serve artists by employing them. We hope that you enjoy these live from Med City broadcasts and that you will send us your comments so that we can continue to improve these shows and book artists that you would like to see and hear. Please visit the riversideconcerts.com website.
As I turn 60 and reflect upon my life, I recall some hard times, struggles and strife, wrestling with demons that almost took me down. But I beat them back, bound my wounds, picked myself off of the ground. 'Cause of you. And all you do, you helped me through the turn around. My first wife bolted when we brought the baby home. We should have been a family, but I ended up alone. Seed and a paycheck was all she wanted from me. Then she robbed me of my children when I finally broke free. Then came you, and all you do, you helped me through the turn around. I let the bourbon take me and used food to ease my pain, but neither one helped me as I grew more insane. The day my son died, the world fell apart. Then my daughter left me, not wishing a fresh start. Then came you, and all you do. You helped me through the turn around, the turn around. When you came into my life, you filled me with joy. You made me feel alive again, just like a teenage boy. You helped me through the turnaround. You are my precious one. There's just no way to thank you for everything you've done. There's you, and all you do. You helped me through the turn around, the turn around, the turn around. Inspired by this special place where we live here in southeastern Minnesota, the prairies and the bluff land along the Mississippi River, the coulees, and the driftless region of west central Wisconsin. This tune is called French Slough. We were drifting down the river till we hit French Slough. It was there we then decided what we were to do. The day job's got to end. Let's adopt this river as our friend. The song rings through the coulee, we're home again. At the office, politics sway everything I do. All your good work doesn't matter 'cause they don't have a clue. The day job's got to end. Let's adopt this river as our friend. The song rings through the coulee, we're home again. West Channel Hideaway, That's where I want to stay. Let me hear the barges moan. Through the driftless, let me roam. Let me retire by the shore. Put in extra hours, no more. I want to spend every day with you, cruising up and down French Slough. I can sing there, write songs there, and perfect my craft. Closing deals, writing contracts isn't where it's at. The day job's got to end. Let's adopt this river as our friend. The song rings through the coulee. We're home again. Let me sleep deep in your arms, dear, where the waters flow. I'll file the paper, say my goodbyes. It's long past time to go. The day job's got to end. Let's adopt this river as our friend. The song rings through the coulee. We're home again. West Channel Hideaway, that's where I want to stay. Let me hear the barges moan. Through the driftless, let me roam. Let me retire by the shore. Put in extra hours, no more. I want to spend every day with you, cruising up and down French Slough. I want to spend every day with you, cruising up and down French Slough. Good night, everybody. Haunts painted with flowers for the Beerburn Pewaukee Way. He thought he couldn't work the canvas as his father had taught him each day. With no formal training, he struck out on his own. From Leipzig to Budapest to Texas, till he made Milwaukee his home. brushes and his palette to marry the girl of his dreams. They started a family, though just barely out of their teens. He became a gardener for those who had money and more. But with war at the doorstep, they fled with other souls from the horror. They entered the country in the usual unlawful way. They couldn't clear Ellis Island. A clubfoot got in their way. Somehow they made El Paso and farmed by the old Rio Grande till the crops failed and they had to abandon their land. Then northward to Wisconsin, a much greener shore, tending gardens for brewers and bankers, planting flowers and trees by the score. He became the master. Nursery beds were his domain. He won honors